I am a temple who walks the earth. My womb is fertile for giving birth. I am a woman planted in truth. I grow my branches from sacred roots. You are the form of who you want to be. So come untethered, your soul is free. We're here to heal, we're here to thrive. We are a dream who's come alive. We light a candle, our hearts awake. Illumination for God's sake. A revelation for God's sake. An evolution for God's sake. An inspiration for God's sake. 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 For God's sake.
Hello, Essence. This is Jody England, and you are listening to Wild Soul Medicine Radio. It's so good to be with you today. I just got a download right as the music was finishing. I was tuning in to Source, right? I just sort of opened myself for a channel for what is the intention of this show today. And I was expecting, well, I wasn't really expecting anything because I was open for the channeling. And what came through is we are shifting the way this planet energetically exchanges. That's what's happening on this show, nothing less. And, I've been feeling the immensity of what's happening here, what's occurring in this information that's wanting to be delivered, the newness of this conversation, the actual paradigm shifting constructs that are really in this, and I'm actually as amazed as all of you because this is not coming from me, right? This is from beyond us. And it's really, this is not a money conversation. So this is the thing, right? We say it's a money conversation because that's the pain that we're all tuned into. But it is a much larger conversation than that because money is not the thing. And we talked about that a lot on the show 2 weeks ago. And there were so many questions and so many beautiful inquiries into, well, what does this mean? And then how do I do this? And how long do I have to have a job before I start doing the other thing? And, just so many beautiful pieces. And also like, well, what does energetically exchanging actually mean? Does that mean I get, have to get paid more, or I have to get paid for doing my angel card readings, or, whatever. And so that's what we're really going to do here today is we're going to be diving into more of the specifics around what does this really mean and how does it work? And I'm going to be taking callers the entire show. So if you are interested in having me take a look with you at your current energetic exchange with the world, you should call in now. The number is 937-552-2747. 937-552-2747. Call in now, even if you're not sure what you want to ask or you're not exactly sure the context of the question or any of that. You should call in now to get in the queue, and then we'll work our way toward you as we start moving through the show. So to get back to this idea of energetic exchange, I want to just presence when we talk about the money conversation. What I covered last time was this pet peeve I have about how pretty much the entire online coaching community and really online business community is all about making money king. And so what they're pitching is, fill in the blank, whatever they offer to a 6-figure a year business, right? As if that's the legitimate thing. And I wanted to say a few things about how this is put together, because I really, really, really want you to understand that this conversation is, if you imagine it being like all of the sand on the widest beach, right? That's what we're talking about when we cover energetic exchanges, which is really money is a form of that. And there are an infinite number of other ways that we can energetically exchange with life. And so our money story is simply a reflection of how our system is currently set up to exchange or not exchange with life. And so if you imagine money is really like one tiny grain of sand within the larger beach of this whole conversation, right? And the whole conversation is necessary to shift the grain of sand, right? You cannot shift your money situation without dealing with the way you're exchanging with life. And, I'm faced with examples of that all the time. I have a client. I have many clients who come to me. They usually come to me because, their business is struggling and they're, wondering what they need or why their last 3 6-figure a year classes are not yet turning into that, actual clients, and not even 6-figure clients. Most people are still struggling to get 1 client or get 2 or 3 clients or even make a living with their clients. And, I did that for so many years too, So, I had a client who spoke to me about, really like, yeah, I want to do all of this energy work stuff, but can we first work on getting me some clients, right? Because I need to pay my bills, need to pay my rent. And so when I looked into the energy, what I saw is her system was so closed to actually allowing herself to have a win in any way, to let any energy come into her system, that there's nothing that we could have done to intervene in that session that would have resulted in a client, right? In fact, her whole system was organized around having clients, around not having clients. Okay. And so this is the problem when we sign up for class after class, promising that somehow there's some formula outside ourselves that's going to be this bridge to get us, it's just some knowledge we're missing, right? It's just this, we don't have the know-how to get where we want to get. And that is really bullshit. Because most of us have an idea, we have an idea of what needs to happen. We need to talk to some people. We need to tell them what we do. They need to say yes to what we do and pay us some money, right? Like really, that's the basics of having money come into your space. The much more complex and true energetic underneath that is all of the stuff that goes into are you willing to be seen? Are you willing to allow a yes to happen? Are you willing to be supported by doing your purpose? Are you connected with your purpose? Do you know who you are, right? Like all of those pieces are the energy underneath what drives you actually getting business or making money, right? So I'll just remind you again, if you want to call in and talk about your particular blocks around money or understanding the core energetics of how your system is aligned, I promise I'll be gentle. The number is 937-552-2747. 937-552-2747. And so as we return to this conversation, what I just want to say is what I ended up doing with that client is we did a whole session where we worked on repairing the deepest parts of her that were unconsciously committed to not having a successful business, right? And there were many layers, right? So there's actually a lot of excavation work for this client around how her system is aligned around that. But the empowering piece is knowing that 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 is the issue. So rather than continuing to pay for classes which aren't going to work, which are then going to just become evidence to keep telling you that something's broken in you, but you can't actually fix it. What we're doing is we're actually working at the core. And the beautiful thing of working at the core is not only will it fix the money situation, right? But it's going to fix everything in this woman's life, because it will then allow her to start exchanging with life, as in she can then attract a partner, and she can have a home, and she can, really start to love the work that she's up to. Those are all other forms of energetic exchange. So when we talk about allowing energy in, it does include money, and it will include any other form of energy in, right? So anything else you're calling into your life, it includes love, gratitude, appreciation, visibility, all of those pieces. And so really, sorry, I said it, type a quick thing. So really what you're doing is you're taking the attention off of this tiny grain of sand, like, let me just dissect the money and see what's happening here. And you're missing the forest for the trees, right? So instead of being in that inane conversation, which takes us nowhere about money, we're going to use money as a portal to open the door to this much more vast conversation, which is, how is my energy system really aligned? Because in this way, we're shifting the entire way that you operate on the planet. And the larger vision is that as we start to shift the way we align and operate in the world, we have all of these beautiful light workers and, energy medicine men and women on the planet who are perpetually broke and in hiding, right? And we have to come out of hiding. We have to shift how we're actually interacting with the world if we want to shift the planet. And so that means we have to start interacting with the world. We have to actually be able to energetically align in a way that serves us, And so when we do that, yes, we're going to be starting to get money, and also we're going to be getting so much more joy and gratification and fulfillment from our lives. So it looks like we have a couple callers here. Let's go ahead and see if we can put one through. There's a little lag on the line once I request that. So we'll just kind of hang out here for a moment and receive a breath as our first brave sister shows up to allow us to play by using the medicine of what's happening in her energetic lineup to create some freedom within our own. And so for those of you who have been following the soul medicine path conversations, just know that you don't actually have to know for sure your own soul medicine path. There is medicine for you in every soul path. There will be elements of how these callers are aligning that are exactly like parts of your money story and your energetic story as well. So as you're listening, just imagine that it is you and go ahead and clear along with her. And as we do that, then we will be able to create more and more freedom as we all just sort of heal together here. Okay, so that is quite a lag. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Hi, this is Jody. You're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Jody. This is Terry.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. Is this Magic, Terry?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. Perfect. Good. All right. So what shall we take a look at regarding your money conversation today?
I feel like my money conversation is like what you're talking about, being afraid to be seen. Like, I feel like, I've always just had money avoid me, and I haven't had issues with money before really waking up, and now it's really about really boundary issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never feel ready to start.
Yeah, love that. Great. So let's, I'm just reading the energy as you're speaking, and I am going to go ahead and identify your soul medicine path. So those people who know what theirs is can follow along if you identify in that way. So Terry is a shapeshifter and a great mother. And so as I look at the energy of what's happening currently in your energetic exchange with life, is it looks like you are using other people. So it becomes this catch-22, right? So on the one hand, you use people in your life to hide behind, right? So it's like, well, I have to be a mother, and then I have to take care of this person and take care of that person. And so you hide behind having to do all of this caretaking. And then as you create that in your space, then that becomes evidence, right? That, well, how can I step into my fullness? Because I don't even have time to practice my gifts or really step into it, And so right now, your energetic exchange is it's funneling through everyone in your life. So there is no direct exchange happening between just you and life. You use your identity as a mother and as a caretaker. That's the currency that you've been trading in so far. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, just know that as I'm saying this for everyone listening, there's no judgment. So, do we need to exchange some energy as mothers? Of course. Of course. And the shadow is when we only do that, so then that's not actually an alignment, because Terry actually is someone outside of her mothering. She is a whole essence and a soul who has unique gifts that are not being exchanged with the world because she has so much energy in one tank, and that being mothering. Right? So, right. And when you're exchanging that much energy in one tank, what happens in your system is like, well, how could I manage more than this tank? Because it's all consuming, right? So how can I add a bunch of clients to that? Because who would have time to manage all of that? Does that resonate? Yeah. So, great. So let me just pause there for a moment. And I want to address, we had several questions over the last 2 weeks that were around like, well, what should I do then? So great. I saw myself in the soul medicine path, and then what should I do? And what I want to reiterate is these are energetic patterns. They're not thought patterns per se, right? I mean, you may be thinking things, but the thoughts are also a reflection of the energetic. So when we shift these, we're not going to shift them by necessarily doing something different or by thinking something different. We're going to need to go to the energetic level of how these are put together in order to actually make the shift. So don't get caught in that trap of, of jumping into the mind level of how long should I have the job before I can start doing what I really want? Well, that depends on how quickly you shift the energy. The job is sort of just a symptom of that. So let's go ahead and take a look at your system and see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can actually see the tug of war. Like I can see you eyeballing your purpose, like the thing that you want to do, but it's like you keep getting pulled off course by this rubber band that literally is like woven between you and your children, Mm-hmm. And so there's a certain payoff in the longing, you keep longing for the thing that you wish you could do, but it's like the fear versus freedom show. If somebody actually unhooked the rubber band, it would probably feel really scary, So let's just play. Let's play and see if we can make some inroads here for you. So I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Just close your eyes and feel yourself. Yeah, and notice if you can even feel, it looks to me like it comes right out of your solar plexus. If you could notice this way that you have a connection regarding your energetic exchange with life, if you can feel how that's connected to your children, which is kind of off to the side of you rather than directly with you and life. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So what does that feel like to you when you tune into it?
I feel panicked.
Yeah. Say more about that.
It feels like if I look at it, something's going to happen to my kids.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, that's the way that it's wired. So,
Right.
so there's some stuff in there, right? There's some subconscious stuff that says when children aren't fully 100% attended to, bad things happen.
Right.
Right? So go ahead and just put your hand right on your solar plexus, if you would.
Okay.
And just breathe into that panic. Yeah, I can feel the cramp actually happening through the back of your solar plexus, like kind of cramping through your back. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Like, ah. So go ahead and cue your body to safety. So in this moment, we're just taking a look. We won't move anything if it doesn't serve you. And you can go ahead and just like pat your thighs and give your shoulder a little massage. Yeah. Good. And then, one thing that really helps to reassure my own energy system is when I'm moving something, I just say like, well, I'll give this a try, but if I hate it, I'm going to put it back the way it was. Right? And you do have the power to do that. Yeah. That'll help your system be more on board with it.
Okay.
All right, good. So with the panic a little less, let's just take a look. So, and I feel like there's one of your children particularly that's, more engaged than usual right now with you. And so just imagine if you can move him sort of toward the front so you can see him.
Okay.
Yep. And it really looks like one of those exercise bands, that's like a loop. And I see it actually like runs from you to him, kind of goes around his back. And so he's sort of pulling and you're sort of pulling and there's this back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's begin by just really embracing that. Like, what if you could invite him closer, but in a non-trapped way, So you could just like sort of crook your finger and say, hey, come here. And just give him a big giant hug and kiss and really, feel him. Yeah, and go ahead and transmit all of that love, all of that concern and how much you see him and you're tracking him. Just let that all flow through. Yeah, good. Good. And then let's just begin to explore, right? So show him this rubber band that has the two of you connected in this way. And first question is, does he like it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, right? It looks like it's a little much for him. So it's not that he doesn't want to be connected to you, but it's not the right alignment. So it looks like it sort of pulls him off his feet. It pulls him off balance. He's not really able to stand in his own energetic because your field is so strongly pulling him in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, so these are the tough things, right? In our mind as a mom, we have all of our reasons why we must stay on top of our children, right?
You know, clearly.
Clearly, they cannot do it on their own. Oh, we're so cute like that. Yeah. And then, you know, energetically, actually, they can stand so much better on their own with them in their own energy space and us in our own energy space, right? Which doesn't mean we're not in relationship. So this is the tough thing for the shapeshifter energetic is shapeshifters tend to do more enmeshed relationships rather than healthy boundary relationships, right? So there's a confusion between attachment and relationship, right? So just let that sink into your body. There's a confusion between attachment and relationship. So the fear with the ego is if I unattach, then I won't be in relationship. That's the panic, right? But if you think of the definition of attachment, attachment is a neediness. It means I'm not okay unless blah, 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 right? So there's automatically fear built into that, which is disalignment, misalignment. Know what I mean? So we're just going to try this on. Sorry, go ahead, Terry.
No, I do because my mother did that, but did that in an unhealthy way. So it's very confusing for me.
Yeah. What did she do in an unhealthy way? Attaching, unattaching?
I was energetically just on guard all the time and responsible for her well-being.
Yeah. Can you say just a little more about that? Why?
Well, there's like a strong line of women in my family that are very angry and resentful and a lot of abuse. And she just, you know, I was just thinking about this today that she just, you know, she's a narcissist. She's very young. She needs somebody to not stop loving her. And she doesn't want anyone to shine more than her or be more loved than her. So I always felt that attachment to be of service to her. Yeah. And so I get confused with how to be with my children.
Beautiful. Yeah, thanks for illuminating that for us. And, you know, just to add some empowering language to that. So you chose her as a mother because you're a shapeshifter. Right? So you already came in with the propensity to relate in these ways. So of course you had a mother, which necessitated you constantly being more in her energy space than your own. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, and so that's cool. And then now it's just time as you're waking up to start getting rid of those illusory pieces that are forming this foundation, right? That aren't really serving. So let's just try it on. You know, we'll imagine that this is like trying on new clothing, and we may like it or we may not like it. So we're just going to try it on and see what can feel more in alignment in your system and how would it work. So let's just do the first thing is like, what if you could move the rubber band, like I see it sort of around the butt and the waist of your son. So what if you could just kind of lift that over his head so that he's not corralled? And you can still hang on to it because you might need to trap him again, right? But let's just see. Does he run away if we take it off?
He gives me the thumbs up.
Nice. Yeah. And so I want you to check in and see, how do you feel without it around him?
I feel like a better mother.
Yeah. Does it worry you that you're not attached to him in the same way? Like that he has that much freedom from you? Does that concern you?
I don't think so. I think because of his age, it's like he is dying for me to take that off. Yeah, I get that. Good. It feels really good.
I get that. And what I just want to say about Terry is what I know about you is that you are a really enlightened mother, and that you know, right? You know the appropriate way to mother your children. And then there's just this energetic stuff that keeps circumventing it, right? Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to give him freedom, but So this is what's cool about this conversation. Because remember, we started talking about money, but look at what we're healing, right? We're healing lives right here. We're healing souls right here. And then the money's going to happen so easily, right? So easily. Because right now there isn't even a highway that leads to you where money could come in. And so that's, what we're reconstructing here. So I see you standing there holding the rubber band. How do you feel about just taking that whole construct out of where it runs through you, just removing it from your solar plexus?
Oh, I actually love that idea.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I've always just been an independent person, and it's part of the frustration, like wanting to mother and also wanting to be free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Totally, right? Because with that old construct, it's like you're constantly bumping into each other, just the way a rubber band works, right? Like they start to get far away and then you're clanging into each other. And it's like, wow, how did we get in here? Why are you bumping into me?
Exactly.
What's happening? Totally. Totally.
Oh, I
Great.
love the visual.
Yeah. So go ahead and just see, like I can still feel like there's a sort of like a trench in your back where it's pretty enmeshed there. So do a little surgery on yourself. Let it be easy. There you go. Good. Good. And so once you have it out, imagine there is a grounding receptacle, and you can just drop it down there and let it be returned to the earth and recycled. And then let's take some golden salve, a bucket of golden salve, and go ahead and just put the salve all around your back, any place that there's an indent or a void, and just fill it in and imagine the salve can immediately heal those spaces, bring them back to fullness and wholeness. There you go. Ooh, good. Gosh, I feel your system opening up. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Terry just opened for business. The business of life. Go ahead.
I've been working with my spine for like the last month, so that's perfect. Just working energetically with my spine.
Yeah. So good. So good. So great. So what I'd like to imagine now is if you could create a new, really to me, it feels like a highway, between you and life, like a new way of exchanging. So it's not the rubber band model, but to me, it almost feels like the, in the Wizard of Oz, when they walk up to the Emerald City and there's that big walkway and then there's just like an opening. I almost imagine that with like your solar plexus being the entrance to the Emerald City. And just having this very wide walkway where, there's so much space. You can offer something out to life, and there are so many avenues and so much room where life could exchange back with you. And so almost just imagine you could unfurl that highway, and then we'll just see what that feels like.
It's exciting and scary.
Yeah, I was going to say, so maybe it doesn't need to be so wide to start.
Right.
Because you're so used to having no direct exchange, right? And so this is what people may encounter. You will encounter this. You all will. Because as we're shifting our energy system, it's just like going to the gym. If you haven't been working out and then you go the first day and you do, 1,000 squats, you're going to be in some pain, right? That would be too many.
Right.
So, we just start with like, can you let any energy come in? So maybe let's just narrow the highway a little, just a little so you can play. This is where we play like, does it need to be super thin or maybe kind of medium? how far out from you can it extend? So maybe it's kind of shorter for now, right? So it's not like going to all the world, but just maybe, into, your immediate vicinity, or maybe just outside your own aura space. There you go. Good. And then so as you try one on, then just allow your energy space to upgrade. So what I like to feel is surrendering. Like, okay, can I let my system align with that? And then you can feel everything kind of reorganizing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. And then, something fun might be to place a sign at the end of the highway. That's like a love note to life that says, I'm open for business. And I want everybody to know when I say open for business, I don't necessarily mean Terry is open to receive clients, although that might be one of the ways. But I mean open for business as in, hello, life. I am here. I am open to give and receive with you on my own behalf. Directly, right? Here comes the energy in and out right through this pathway. How does that feel to you, love?
Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do, Terry, is I'm going to give you some homework. What you can do is play with this path, and you could imagine what you might send out it, right? And then what kinds of things might come in. Because this is really where we are only limited by our imagination. So, if you are directly exchanging with life, what would that look like? Is it doing some work in the world? Is it, being in a job? Is it taking on some clients? Is it delivering some art? Is it meditating? Is it, gardening? Like, it could be anything. And then starting to imagine what life might return back to you. So maybe it's a supportive partner. Maybe it is clients. Maybe it's money, wheelbarrows full of money, right? Maybe it's someone in your life who's been a no suddenly becoming a yes. Or you starting to get something you've been desiring, but now you have a pathway for it to find you. You see?
Yeah.
So that's what you can play with, now you can play with that in your meditations, and just checking to see, like, am I still open for business? And if I'm not, can I reopen? That's where you can start to play.
Love that so much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being willing to play with us in this way. I feel like it was beautiful medicine for many, many mamas out there.
Yes. I'm so glad I called in.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, darling. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
Whew. Okay, so as we wrap that up, we'll have Viv put our next caller through. And while we wait for that, I want to just have everyone receive a breath. So just feel that in your system. And if you're joining us just now, there's a couple ways you can play. So one thing is you can just say to your system, I match the energy of Terry's healing. I match the energy of Terry's healing. You can just bring that whole system. It's like you can ping the energy of what's happening with her and just allow your system to align with it. Right? So you feel some activation in your solar plexus. You might feel some things falling away. Beautiful. Yeah, and then if you have more time later, you can come back and actually do some deeper excavation work and just see, if even if you're not a shapeshifter, it still will apply to you. Like, there are things that you have your energy or attention more aligned with than allowing energy into your space, right? So you can still use this healing in so many ways to start moving what's currently in the way of you being a direct exchanger with life. Yeah. Beautiful. So I love hearing your stories. It's so great to actually just feel you and get to dive into the energy space. And I think, one of the other really cool things about it is what a beautiful demonstration that was of how money is only a tiny grain of sand, right? Like, I'm not kidding you. And I'm not just saying it because, and let me just speak to this, because a lot of spiritual seekers believe that money is the bad thing. And so they might misconstrue what I'm saying as meaning money is bad. It's totally the contrary. I want you wealthy. And you being wealthy will be it will be a manifestation of how your energetic is actually aligned, right? So you having money means you are appropriately energetically aligned, and that's what I'm actually committed to, right? So in service of that, let's take our next caller. Hi, you're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Hello, Rachel.
Hi, beautiful Rachel. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks for calling in. So what would you like to take a look at regarding your current exchange with life?
Well, I know it's not quite balanced, but I feel like I'm doing a whole lot of exchanging, or a whole lot of at least like putting myself out there, but I'm not sure what's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's not things coming back, and I'm not sure how to like change what I'm doing to where I'm going out there and trying to put myself out there and bring in these opportunities, but then they're just like these awesome experiences, but I'm not sure that I know how to get it to where I'm receiving things back besides just an experience.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So I'm familiar with your situation, and I'm seeing lots about it, and I feel like it might serve those listening if you could just give a few more details of what that looks like, because I think people are hearing themselves, right? They'll hear themselves more through the details.
Okay. So like I feel like I'm going out to I'm trying a million different things to see what feels right. And I played around with a million jobs with different things, like what's right for me. And I found something I really like, and I'm kind of going down that. But I've done this kind of experimentation with every part of where I live, what kind of people I interact with, lifestyle choices, like a million different things to like what I feel like would be exchanging with life in all these different ways. But I'm very stuck in like my money is totally stuck. I feel the energy in these areas, like with the way I eat, with my money, with my social interactions, where it's all or nothing. It's always all or nothing. It's binge or purge. It's I don't know how to get in that receiving place, or where I'm not just, okay, I get some and I'm going to consume it, or
Got it.
Just a balance, I guess. It doesn't feel like balance. I know that it has to do with balance, but it doesn't feel like balance. It feels like it's just not there, or it's appearing and disappearing, even though I know it probably is more of a balance issue.
I've got you. Thank you. Thanks for saying those things, because I know we have so many women who are matches to that who are listening. So you are exchanging with life in the energetic of the Great Mother, right? It's funny that you actually just listed binging and purging as an example of the energetic, because what I was seeing is it's almost like you're vomiting energy into life, right? Like there's so much energy pouring out of you. And it really does actually have the same energetic as binging and purging, right? Which is what's happening. When you binge and purge, you bring in a lot of energy, but you don't metabolize it, and then you puke it out, right? So nothing actually lands. You don't get nourished by it. And so that's the energy of the Great Mother is we are interacting with life, right? We're putting a lot of our energy out into life. But the missing piece is exchange. So we don't actually allow anything to enter us or to land with us or to nourish us because we're so busy running around taking this course and taking that course and getting certified and, having 5 jobs and, blah, blah, blah. So the shifting of that energetic for the Great Mother is we're going to turn down the faucet where the energy is pouring out into life. And then we're going to start to play with how can we open you to allow some things to reach you and to land with you. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so I'm just going to say, for those of us operating in that dynamic, some of the reasons why that might occur is because when we've let things land before or touch us in a deep way, there's been some kind of a wound, right? So we might have really loved someone and then they left us, right? Or we might have really opened our hearts and shown ourselves and then a bad thing happened, right? And so it was like, okay, I'm never going to let any energy like that get in here again. And then that's the problem because we then orient our entire system around no energy in. Like there's really not a way to be selective. You can't just say, well, I'll let that kind of energy in, but not that kind of energy. When we're talking at this base level of exchanging with life, it just naturally includes everything. So we can't say, I won't let love in, but I will let, money in because it just doesn't selectively actually happen that way. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and just take a breath. And let me just check in with you, sweetheart. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just thinking this is what I keep coming back to, where I know that there's healing that needs to be done, but then how do I heal it? I feel like I've tried all these. I'm doing the same thing with healing. I'm going to try every modality and every way that there is to heal it, but what actually heals it? I know there's this issue, and I know that I'm can't get filled back up. But then I'm I don't know how to get to it.
Yeah. So can we heal it now? Are you up for it?
Now.
Let's do it now. And I just want to say that, that information, that question coming up in your mind is actually a reflection of your commitment to not let energy in, right? So it becomes this cycle where we're proving to our subconscious, see, no energy's coming in. Nothing can come in. No matter how many courses, nothing can fix it, right? I've tried really hard. I've done everything. I used to say the same thing. I used to say exactly the same thing. I don't think anything can fix me because it's not for lack of trying, So even our language is just a reflection of the current alignment of our system, which is I'm really aligned with having a lot of energy pouring out and nothing actually nourishing me or fixing me, right? So let's start to heal some of that. All right. So, and this is another beautiful example of how thinking about it doesn't actually shift it, right? So there's a way that you could say, okay, great. I'm a great mother. I heard Jody talk about that. Saw Rachel go through it. So I'm going to start saying to the universe, I want something to land with me, right? I want some money to come in. I'm aligning. I'm trying. And no money will land because it's not a thought problem, right? The thoughts are a reflection. So you have to go deep into the energy to actually make room for the shift to happen. All right. So go ahead and close your eyes, honey. And just let yourself settle into this moment. And I first want you to just tune into what's happening in your body right now. Just as we even talk about settling in and healing this thing, what are you feeling in your body?
Guarded and protected.
Yeah. So just notice that, right? That's a great awareness because you thought you were doing everything for healing. And yet as we start to prepare for the healing, something in your body's not actually on board with it. Interesting, right? Just say hello to that. By the way, you can tell that's happening because if your system looks a certain way, if your life looks a certain way, it's because your system is aligned to make it look that way, right? It's no surprise. the only surprise is when we keep trying to work at it from the level of the mind. So go ahead and just feel like I feel some of the armor coming out, almost like a little armadillo bug, right? Like I'm going to roll into a ball and protect myself. Yeah, so hello to all of that. The armadillo bug is such a good, I think we used to call them pill bugs, something like that. But like when you touch them, they roll like literally into a ball. And so there's no way anything could penetrate them. And then all you see is the shield, right? So let's just give your system some safety, kind of like a turtle pulling into its shell, right? So we're just going to imagine, in fact, you can actually do this to your physical body. Go ahead and just stroke your arm, massage your shoulder, give yourself a little hug, like, okay, but am I safe right now? Because nothing's going to overtake me in this moment. You might even open your eyes and look and see where you are. Like, I'm in a room by myself. There's nothing dangerous here. Okay, this is just energy. There you go. Good. Good. And then we're just going to gently get curious with your system, right? So like if you have one of those pill bugs and you try to poke it to get it to open, it just closes tighter. So we want to be really gentle with your system. And so you might just imagine that you could like stroke a finger down your spine, just in a way that would feel really good. There you go. There, good. You feel your system relaxing just a little bit? Yeah, good job. All right, so I feel like the best place for us to play with you is going to be in the womb space, which is your second chakra. It's also your receiving chakra. And so it feels like that space is still almost like doubled over on itself, like really kinked. So just go ahead and place a hand there. Just place a hand on your belly. Yep. I'm just getting some downloads about all of the old stories. Like, I'm giving everything for my children. Or like so much has come out of me related to that. They happen to be one of the ways that you pull in, right, to shield yourself from actually letting anything land. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah, so let's just see how we can support this area of your body. So it feels like, what if we could use some gold energy that's like a muscle relaxer, And you could just imagine that you can take a handful of it and kind of just wipe it gently on the front of your belly. And just imagine that it starts to relax those muscles so that you can unkink your womb space. Yeah. Yeah, and then
it's stunning because I feel like I am actually having like postural issues from this. Like I will find myself thinking forward and forward, like at an absurd level.
I know. And I could actually just feel, because your lower back is so out of alignment, which by the way is where we register support, which makes perfect sense with you, right? And so it's like, oh, I've got everything piled on my back. I have to do everything. And so it's almost like, the back is so tight. So go ahead and put some on the back as well. Imagine that you can loosen the back so that it could relax into straightening up. Just apply some of that golden salve. There you go. What if it was safe to straighten up? Yeah, so we're going to just drain some old stuff out of here. So I'd like you to imagine that you could put like a shunt it actually out your kidneys. So there's a lot of like anger in your kidneys around like not supported and some grief in there. So just imagine that you can put a shunt right out both of your kidneys, particularly the right one, but let's do both just to be safe. And allow them to just create a vent where you can let the energy from your kidneys just kind of run out, right? All of the negativity that's packed in there. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just going to name for you as that's running out. So there's some warrior stuff in here too, right? And the warrior stuff, there's some anger about feeling like you got fucked by life. Yeah. So you don't actually want to exchange with life because it's not a fair deal, right? You can't really trust that you're not going to get screwed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about that? You don't have to, but I'm just asking.
I just think it adds, it's just kind of all tied into, I don't know, I think of whenever I was, and I've said this more recently, I guess I remembered this, like being 14 and saying like, I want to experience everything that there is. Like, if it exists, the good, the bad, I want to experience it. And then now I'm like, what an idiot. I didn't know what I was saying. I didn't know what I was bringing on to myself. But.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's a lot of evidence, right? That if I let anything in, right, it's going to be bad. So I'm not going to exchange with life anymore. I'm going to just pour my energy out, but at least I'm in control of that. So I won't get surprised, right? Because nothing will be coming in, and that's where the bad stuff happens. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just going to drain the rest of that stuff out of the kidneys. Imagine you could open your cells in the kidneys to just like open your fist, to just drop, because whatever, all of that story that's in there already happened, right? So let's just kind of create a do-over in your kidneys. There you go. Good job. Nice. Just felt your spine crack. Felt like it was realigning. Did you notice that? That was awesome. Okay, great. So when your kidneys feel nice and clear, go ahead and just pull the shunts out, put some golden salve over the openings, and just place your hands on your kidneys and imagine that you can send some golden energy right into them. Yeah, just filling them up with fresh, new, divine energy. Beautiful. Great. Okay, so let's use that old vow, right? Of like, I want to experience everything. And let's just see, so like what was under that, sweetheart? I love your 14-year-old self, having so much passion for life. So if you could get clear on like, what was the essence of that commitment or that desire? Why experience everything?
I just wanted to like I'm here to experience, like, let's bring it, like, let's experience it. I wanted to, travel all over the place. I wanted to live every kind of life. I wanted to, live on the streets and see what that was like and do this and see what that was like. And it was kind of based out of like, understanding people and having empathy and like just living as completely as I possibly could.
Beautiful.
Like not being bogged down by this is what everybody else thinks life should be or what life looks like, but I'm going to experience every single one of these different ways of living.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. So here's what happens is like when we make these commitments, the subconscious block that's already in our space ends up informing the commitment, and then we get more of the block, right? What I hear when you say that, the clear piece is, I want to fully and richly energetically exchange with life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, then it's not even a thing about if it's good or bad. It's like the exchange is what accounts for good. Right? So it doesn't have to be this protective, like if I open, then I have to protect. But it's just like the piece that was missing is when you said it before was, I want the good, the bad, right? And then you got what you thought was bad and then you closed. So what we really want to do is allow this to be an exchange with life where you fully show up and then life fully shows up for you. With beautiful experiences and interesting people and, travels and all of the things you were calling in, right? So you get met and you're showing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I feel like there'll be times where I'm like, okay, I can see the beauty and the bad. I can see the things that I've grown and that part of makes me who I am, that I'm glad that I had those bad experiences. But it's the overlaying protective that's almost just like beyond my control. Just comes in and like puts me down in that protective stance.
So in the past, the reason it was beyond your control is because it was subconscious. So you couldn't even access that it was there. It was your sign out front that was like, I don't actually want to exchange with life anymore. Fuck off. Right? Mm-hmm. So what we're doing right now is I'd like you to imagine that you could arrive in that space of your womb and see that old, battered, dusty shingle that you hung out when you were 14, right? And go ahead and just take it down. You can even take the whole post that it's hung on. Just take all of that down. Imagine you can toss it into a grounding trash can. And by the way, what I will just say is there's also nothing wrong with you having said that and done that. I mean, it was your path. So all of these experiences that you've had were necessary because now you have this understanding of discernment of like, oh, what I really want is this full exchange with life, right? So because of your soul path, there's really no other way it could have gone. But now you're just more awake. And so you're ready for the discernment to root in your space. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and create a brand new sign. A brand new sign. And this one creates this new commitment. I am open to deeply and richly, fully exchange with life. And make exchange in really big letters. Right? Exchange, because that means in and out. In and out, right? Exchanging with life, fully exchanging. Both parties fully bringing it, right? You showing up in all the beautiful ways you have. And what you're adding is you're showing up now fully open, right? So you're still doing the things, but you're now just open for people to be like, oh my gosh, I love your service. I want to pay you for that. Oh my gosh, here's an apartment where you can get free rent for 6 months. I don't know why. That's just because how life meets you, right? Like you never know. Yeah. So go ahead and just post that sign and see how that feels, allowing that to be in your system. Let your system kind of catch up with it. Feel the cells reorganizing. Surrendering on the edges. Yeah. So there's an energy of yes. So the new energetic of this sign is a yes from life, a yes to life. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. 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 There you go.
It feels like there's somebody else's organ in me. It's like I'm gonna have gotta adapt to it, the feeling of it.
Yeah, great. So let's imagine that we can find a volume knob, and let's turn the volume down so that it's not so foreign. Right, so maybe turn it, down to 1. And then imagine that you can just slowly turn it up And as you turn it up to like 2, I kind of see it like growing veins, you know, like it just starts to very gently join with your system. Yeah, good. Yeah, because the combination of paths that you are would have you skydive into like, great life, here I come, right? And we don't actually need to force it in that way. It's really about letting it be a gentle exchange so that you can start to feel, it's kind of like feeling the breeze on your face and being like, oh, well, that was a pleasant exchange. Maybe a little more of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why this medicine that is force-fed around create a 6-figure business, when you have no clients, that is not a leap that's possible. You know, energetically, it's not even possible. Like you have to just start letting your system receive anything. You know, so for you, I kind of even like it. Just, you know, you could leave it on a 2 or a 3 for right now. 4 max, but I wouldn't push it.
Okay.
Yep. So kind of find like where the forced part feels and then turn it down from there. You know, like maybe down 1 notch. There you go. Good. Good. And so this is your play. So your play is in meditation. You come back here and you say like, okay, well, how's my sign doing? Is it still out? Is it still, you know, is it crooked? Do I need to straighten it? You know, am I on a 3, a 4? You know, do I feel like I want to turn it up to a 5 today? And also starting to just become conscious of the ways that life is trying to exchange with you, the ways life does exchange with you. So it's on every level. It can be, you know, the beautiful coincidence that showed up and made your life easier today, right? Or an email from a friend and this thing you were worried about is suddenly handled, or you're off the hook for it. Or somebody makes you dinner, or, you know, you have an unexpected 30 minutes that you get to take a bath in. You know, it could be anything. So you're just starting to notice the yes, right? Here's life showing you, I'm here. I would dance with you if you would like, right? And then you're training your system to say yes to that. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. Any thoughts or questions as we bring this to a close?
Just acknowledging those things, is that like the yes, just to recognize them?
Yeah, well, and I think, you know, so your commitment is to fully experiencing life. So there's a way that, you know, you could get the surprising, you know, show of support from a friend and be like, okay, well, that was good. It was small, but it was good, you know, which is you not actually fully exchanging, right? Because you didn't really let it in. Or you could receive it and you could print the email and you could put it up on your vision board, or you could hold it to your chest and really allow yourself to feel like, oh my gosh, this is such a miracle. I did that energy work and now I'm already receiving things. Life is so awesome, right? And it's like each little piece, you're training your energy system, like let energy in, let energy in. What could that feel like? How could I let more energy in? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could even be physically like, you know, I'm seeing yoga postures, right? Where you're opening your womb space, you know, like doing a back bend, or like, you know, hanging over the edge of your couch or your exercise ball. So you can just reverse that energetic of being the pill bug, right? And instead, yeah, right? Did that connect something for you?
Yeah, it sounds scary. I mean, it sounds like it would feel good, but in a very scary way.
Yeah, beautiful. So for you, you might start slow, which is, can I even just lay flat out on my bed, right? Or could I sit up in a chair without being crunched over? And then maybe I'm in a recliner, so I'm like a little bit back. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just playing at this energetic level. When you do the energetics, the details will show up, but don't jump to the details too quickly. If anything, use the details as information about how your energy is still aligned. Make sense?
Uh-huh.
And what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on how you're not supported, you've really just slipped back into being cramped forward, right? And if you're focusing on gentle, this is for you. This is gentle. This is not about attacking your system, right? Because then you're going to go pill bug on it. So it's like just little bit by little bit. How can you find a little more surrender? How can you invite more opening in the most gentle ways? Just a little bit. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being willing to play. It was really fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. All right, love. Thanks for calling. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Well, thanks to all of you who are still hanging in there. I know that Rachel and Terry would really love to hear feedback from you if you are part of the tribe. If you're not on the tribe and you want to join us, facebook.com/groups/Wild Soul Medicine Radio Tribe. Wild Soul Medicine Radio Tribe. And we'll be continuing this conversation in there. So I'd love to hear from you what opened for you as a result of this conversation. What are you shifting in your energy space? What are you becoming aware of in the way that your system is aligned or misaligned with your energetic exchanges with life? And we'll just continue to play and to open and grow in this new body of work. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being willing to do this tough work, right? To go the places where no one else is going, to bring your soul into its highest and best alignment here in this earth walk that we're doing together. So until next week, my loves, enjoy and exchange in the most beautiful, exquisite ways. I look forward to being with you then. Bye, everyone.
We light a candle, our hearts awake. Illumination, for God's sake. A revelation, for God's sake. An inspiration, for God's sake. Illumination, for God's sake. For God's sake. For God's sake. For God's sake.